Deviant sexual practices are nothing new. But stigma, shame, embarrassment, and a belief that they are not normal mean that they often remain in the shadows and in an otherwise grey area of society. So when crimes are tied to unconventional sexual practices, they can be difficult to investigate, as people are reluctant to speak up or come forward. Of course, as BDSM practices become better known and understood, this discomfort has dissipated somewhat. But it remains a murky quagmire for investigators to try to wade through. And if in trying to wade through these often consensually violent practices, they find a man dead and another giving a plausible story of a mercy killing that could mitigate or even completely justify his involvement in the other man's death, it becomes a matter of doggedly following the evidence. Eventually it becomes clear that the mercy was far from it, and the true details of the crime were nauseatingly abhorrent. This is the murder of Kevin Bacon. No, not that one. And this is Murder of Crows. Bennington is a tiny township in Michigan. Formed in 1838, it was named after Bennington, Vermont, as the first settlers to the Michigan area came from the Green Mountain State. Much of the earlier history of the township revolved around the Hartwell family, who served as postmasters in the region until 1901, with the post office finally closing its doors for the last time in 1958. Today, the region has a small population of just a shade over 3,000 people. And before we dive into today's sordid tale, we also need to look at a city near to Bennington named Swartz Creek. Now, Swartz Creek can be traced back to the Miller settlement formed by Adam Miller in 1836. Today it is a suburb of Flint, Michigan, and the city has a population of around 6,000 people. Like Bennington, it is largely nondescript, with its only real significance in wider media being that it was home to the Sports Creek Raceway, which hosted harness racing between 1986 and its closure in 2015. And now, with all of that covered, we need to look at the background of a man named Mark Latunsky, so you can be more informed when we come to look at a story that he would later tell to try to explain the sickening actions he took at Christmas time in 2019. In his earlier life, Mark Latunsky was a perfectly normal family man. He married his wife in 2001, and the couple would go on to have 4 children together. He was an accomplished chemist, earning around $100,000 a year at one point during his career. A graduate of Central Michigan University, he had 4 patents to his credit. He had a master's in chemistry from Iowa State University, and he was also a member of the American Chemical Society, along with other high-profile professional bodies. So he was a perfectly respectable and clearly intellectual man with a seemingly content home life. But he and his wife split in 2013. And this seems to mark the start of his veering into unconventional sexual practices. He began trying more and more extreme sexual activities and using dating apps, including Grindr, to find men for consensual sadomasochistic encounters. It is not known if his interest in men was something that only began after his marriage ended, but what we do know is that by 2019, Latunsky had a sex room with whips, chains, harnesses, and so much more in the basement of his home. Consensual encounters are one thing. They may not be to everyone's tastes, but as long as everyone is willing and happy, then you do you. Knock yourself out. And that probably is one of the things that some people enjoy, but by the by. But there were a couple of strange events in later 2019 that suggested that all was not necessarily consensual. In October of 2019, Latunsky had used sex to lure a 48-year-old bisexual man named James Carlson. Carlson left New York to meet Latunsky in Michigan. Latunsky took Carlson to his home, drugged him, and chained him in the basement of his stone cottage. The effect of the drug had worn off before Latunsky could carry on with whatever other plans that he had, and Carlson broke free. Carlson duly ran away and called the police.
I am. Well, I broke out of this fucking basement, and I need a ride. Okay. I'm in trouble. I can't find my way back to his place if I wanted to. I don't know if you can take my signal. I'm Sandy York. I'm walking down the street with a picture knife, sweetheart. I need help.
Okay, I'm going to get you help. Are you walking down the street right now?
Yes, ma'am, I am. I'm passing a barn. It's all beautiful here. I can't believe I don't know where I am. I don't know. Like, I never ever had anything like this happen. I don't know whether he drugged me. I don't know. I woke up in the fucking basement, okay? Chained in the basement with a leather thing around my ankle, and I cut it with the butcher knife that I have in my freaking hand, excuse my French.
Okay. Do you have anything on you right now?
I have my phone. I'm sorry, what?
Are you carrying anything?
A butcher knife. Until I see a police officer, when I see a police officer, I will throw it. Until then, I don't trust that he's not walking up because I got lost, and I don't even know if I'm headed towards his house or not. That's why I'm dialing 911. But I'm lost, so I don't even know if I'm headed back towards his house.
He just woke up in the basement. He was chained to something, so he cut the chain off.
I cut the leather strap that had the chain.
He's not sure where he's at.
I just want to get out of here, and I want to go home. I don't even care about the legal case I was here for. I'm sorry I can't help them. I want to go home.
Okay, all right. Listen, I've got help on the way. What were you here for?
I'm a volunteer court advocate. I came here to help in the CSC meeting, and I was supposed to be meeting them at the bus station. I met this guy. I'm by. He was cute. He hit on me. I know. We went out to the car. We dropped. We went to the store. Had a soda. I woke up in the basement.
Okay.
He obviously drugged me.
Okay, when I get a trooper close to you, I'm going to need you to put that butcher knife down, though.
Oh, that's not an issue, sweetie. We'll go flying into the woods.
Okay.
Your officer is in no danger. I've been a public
You don't need to throw it in the woods, but I just don't want it on you. Is there anything else on you at all?
Just, I don't even know if I have my cigarettes.
Okay. You don't have a bag or anything else?
No, I don't have my bag now, sweetie.
Okay. Okay.
I'm very fortunate that my wallet was not ready. I met this guy here, and he seemed like a nice guy. He points outside like he wanted to talk. I go outside. He goes, oh, no, I just started shooting birds. He was cute. I put in work, and I never had this happen.
Are you injured at all? Do you think that you need any medical attention?
No, I'm not injured.
Okay.
I don't know over myself. I'm in a panic right now. Chain's only as good as the weakest link, honey. He had a leather strap to a metal chain. He's an idiot.
Okay, where I'm showing you, the trooper is a little bit away, but when he gets closer, I'm going to need you to put that knife down.
That's no problem, man. I have nothing but respect for the police officers. I've never had a problem with police.
Just advising, he has a knife in his hand. He needs to cut that leather off. He's going to put it down when he sees you approaching.
Because I don't know if I'm walking towards him, and if he comes walking out, I don't know what I'm going to do. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to be unarmed.
Okay.
Because I don't know. I was definitely, it's so real right now. When this settles in, I'm probably not going to be able to function. This is like shit from a movie. I ran down driveways. I ran all over so much that I'm fucking lost. I was making sure I wasn't being followed. I don't know whether he's got dogs. I don't know. I don't remember going to his house.
Okay.
I don't want an incident report. I just really need a ride. Just get in here, please.
So if you see him approaching, I need you to put that knife.
Okay, I don't see any lights at all.
Okay.
Okay, I'm starting to see lights coming up behind me. They're ways away, though.
Okay.
I will sit this on the guardrail as soon as I can tell nobody's walking behind me. This is the second vehicle I'm seeing tonight.
Okay.
And I'm hoping this is a cop, because if it's not, I'm going to be really scared. I'm flagging down whoever this is. So if this is the maniac, you're going to hear some crazy shit. I don't know. I think this is a cop because that looks like an extra bright light, so I am now putting this down. Okay. I am unarmed. It is on the guardrail. I am not armed.
He sees you, he's putting that knife on the guardrail.
I am not armed. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
It's over here.
He sees you.
Okay. I just want him to know I'm not armed.
He knows.
I'm not armed.
He knows.
Yes, sir, I am. I'm not armed. Okay. I'm just really happy to see you. Yes, sir, you do whatever you have to do. You're the police. Stand in front of my car. Whatever you need.
After the police came to his rescue, Carlson told them of his ordeal, but he didn't press charges against Mark Latunsky. And then in November, 6 weeks after Carlson's unfortunate encounter with Mark Latunsky, another guy who had gotten involved with Latunsky for sexual activities broke free from his basement wearing Latunsky's leather kilt. Latunsky was chasing after him, but the unnamed 29-year-old ran to a home in the neighborhood for refuge and an opportunity to call 911.
Charlotte County 911.
I want to get away from some creepy guy. He had me tied up in his basement.
I'm sorry, what's that?
I'm trying to escape from some guy who had me chained up in his basement.
He had you chained in his basement? Where are you calling from?
I don't know. I don't know this road.
Are you on?
From here.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Looks like you're on Tyrell Road.
That could be.
Are you walking?
Yeah.
Hold on 1
I
second.
don't even have shoes on.
3562.
I don't know if I should try to go to someone's house. I don't know where I'm at.
I'm trying to put out a call. 62,
Okay.
You can start off for Tyrell. Just east of Morris Road. Had a subject that was chained up in someone's basement. Just fled the residence. He's out on foot.
He's after me.
Okay, Z. I need you to go to somewhere safe. If you can run up to somebody's house. Where are you at right now? Are you able to get away?
Help me. Help me.
6'2", he's running towards the house. The guy's trying to come after him. I'm trying to get further. Okay, I need an address where you're at. I'm trying to get it.
What's your address? I'm on the phone with the cops right now.
Where are you at? What's their address? I need their address.
He won't give me the address. Please.
Are you outside or inside somebody's house?
I'm trying to find someone to help me.
Are you in the road? I have some state troopers that aren't very far away.
I don't know where I'm
Are you in the... Where are you at right
I'm on a white house across from like a barn.
Okay, are you close to the road? Can you see an address on the mailbox?
I'm too far away from the mailbox.
I'm sorry?
I'm too far away from it.
Can you see a mailbox? Are you on the road?
Yeah, I'm on the road now.
6'2" and 12, he's running down the road, trying to get an address or a mailbox or something. So it's kind of hysterical.
910W.
910?
Yeah.
I think he's in front of 910 West Tyrell. He's at 910 Tyrell.
He's trying to get away from me. Hey. No, please. I'm on the clock. What's your address? What's your address? Please.
Let me can I talk to whoever you're talking to?
It's the cops. What's your address? What's your address? 910, yes, Henry.
3562 and 12 going to be at 910. That's the house they're at, 910. He's talking to a homeowner there. Okay, do you know where the house was at that you were at?
It was not even a mile down the road going, I don't know what way. I see the trooper.
Okay.
I see both of them. I see the trooper right there. He just, yeah. Trooper is right here.
Okay, go ahead and talk to them, but you're going to have to point out where the house was at that you're in, okay?
Okay.
All right.
When the police rescued him, he refused to press charges. In part, Latunsky blocked the possibility of police action by claiming that he was chasing the man because the leather kilt the man was wearing was too expensive to lose. Since the victims in the two cases didn't press charges, the police passed the incidents off as minor disagreements during consensual sex. But there was something decidedly unsettling about the account. And as there were two separate events, it is more difficult to ignore the tales that were being told. By this time, Latunsky was already remarried to a man named David Arnold, but Arnold had moved out of their shared home in September of 2019, and he spoke of Latunsky's behavior becoming more erratic and bizarre prior to David leaving, with David Arnold later saying of Latunsky's behavior, "For him to say he is someone else, he had this theory that his family wasn't his family, that he was not a Latunsky, and that he was somebody else. And this whole connection with the Vikings, that his grandmother was really his mother. I don't know. There's so many crazy accusations that after a while you just start tuning things out for your own sanity." So there were plenty of question marks around Mark Latunsky and his manner and behaviour in late 2019. Now we need to discuss Kevin Bacon. No. Not the one who is, as it happens, one of my favourite actors. And if you've never seen the series The Following, you have to put that right just as soon as this episode is finished. The Kevin Bacon we're talking about here was a 25-year-old hairdresser from Swartz Creek. By December of 2019, many things in Kevin Bacon's life weren't going the way that he wanted. For example, he wanted to move out of the small town of Swartz Creek, but his poor earnings made this more of a long-term goal. He had battled depression for some considerable time, and he felt unwanted because he didn't like his own body. And a month prior, he cut himself several times, and later checked himself into a psychiatric treatment centre. And friends and family knew all too well that Kevin tended to use casual sex as a method of escapism. And it was with the desire to find a casual encounter on Christmas Eve of 2019 that he turned to Grindr and ended up talking to Mark Lutunsky. When Kevin failed to turn up at a Christmas breakfast with his family the next day, they immediately felt that something was wrong. His father contacted the police, and early inquiries found no sign of the young hairdresser. For the next 3 days, friends, family, neighbours, the media and the police launched what would be futile searches for Bacon in the woods, railroads, bushes and nearby farmland. But as the police began to dig deeper, they were able to trace Kevin's most recent movement. And these searches connected him to Mark Lutunsky. Police visited Lutunsky on December the 27th, and he freely allowed the police to search his property. And the police were soon confronted with Kevin Bacon's remains. Lutunsky was, unsurprisingly, immediately taken for questioning, where he presented a story of a mercy killing. But while his story of helping a suffering man had a degree of plausibility about it, the manner of Kevin's death and what happened afterwards suggested something altogether darker. Kevin had been hung upside down and stabbed. Then after his death, Lutunsky had removed and eaten Kevin's organs, fried. Obviously, he's not a complete monster. Or as well as removing and eating one of Kevin's testicles. As you do.
You don't know how many times I have, and it brings me to tears a little bit because, you talk to them and you realize how a person's life goes. You know what? And talking to it because I've never done this, but I still have never done this before.
Okay, so what did you
And we chatted for a while. He described the things that he wanted, and we made the agreement, and he was supposed to disappear, be gone.
So what was the agreement?
I would make his body disappear. And we talked about, several things. What was I going to do? And part of it was the process of concerning, that what portions of his body couldn't be used or gotten, that there were certain things as far as turning his bones into bone meal and turning them into something that would grow tulips for his family. He said, I actually texted a friend. I killed Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon is my hero.
Did you do this by yourself? You didn't have help?
I did it all by myself. I mean, it was during that evening, and then after he was, and I don't know, it's just flat out fact, is that after he was dead, he was hanging, I was done for the night, and it was then that I started to do what I told him I was going to do. It was the new moon, and honoring my word to what I said I would do. That was when I took I cut them out, and I took them upstairs and I ate them.
Lutonsky also confessed that he planned to use Bacon's blood and bones to fertilize plants on his property. He also said he planned to use Kevin's muscles for jerky. And this confession was confirmed to be true by the dehydrator he had ordered online before the murder turned up. Lutonsky was ultimately charged with 2 felonies: homicide and mutilation of a dead body. He was found competent to stand trial in October of 2020. On September the 22nd, 2022, he pled guilty to the charges, and in December of 2022, he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
He was compassionate, he cared for the people he met, cared for the people he worked with.
Is some sort of safety measure if you're going to utilize these dating apps, whether it's Grindr, any of the apps. It could be for straight people, not just people that are gay or bisexual, but just internet safety.
Bailed without bond, charged in Bacon's death. I sat down with Lutonsky's husband, Jamie Arnold, who says he had no knowledge or involvement in Bacon's death and is working to clear his name from social media claims. Tonight, Arnold explains the last time he was at the house where the alleged murder took place.
I didn't think he would ever hurt me in that type of capacity.
Jamie Arnold talking about his husband of several years, Mark David Lutonsky. Lutonsky is now charged with murder and mutilation of a human body in the death of Kevin Bacon. Bacon was found dead inside Mark Lutonsky's Bennington Township home after he was last seen alive on Christmas Eve.
I never thought he was capable of such a horrendous crime.
It's not the first time police have been to Lutonsky's home in recent months. A half-naked man was reported running from Lutonsky's home in November. Michigan State Police determined that no criminal activity took place and said anything that happened was consensual. Arnold says he learned about that incident from media reports after Bacon's body was found.
The police said that incident in November, the man reported another man being there. That man wasn't you.
No, it was not me.
At At Latunsky's December 30th arraignment on charges related to Bacon's murder, Latunsky claimed he was someone else.
My name is Edgar Thomas Hill.
I asked Jamie if this behavior was what he witnessed from Latunsky before he moved out of their shared home in September.
For him to say he is somebody else, he had this whole theory that his family wasn't his family, that he was not a Latunsky, that he was, I don't know, somebody else.
Jamie said he still met with Mark and talked to him several times a week, even though he had moved out.
There's so many signs along the way.
That you never saw at all during your relationship?
Not this, no. Yes, that there was something wrong.
Arnold told me that Christmas Day was the last time he saw his husband, Mark Latunsky, and his demeanor didn't seem unusual.
He appeared to be normal. He never exhibited any signs that anything was wrong.
But later in the interview, Arnold then told me he gave Latunsky a ride back to the Bennington Township home 2 days after Christmas, on Friday night.
Did you take Mark back to the house on that Friday?
Yes, I did.
Did you go in the house?
I did not. I dropped him off at 10:30 at night and came back home. I had to work the next day, and he never once said, hey, why don't you come in? He just got out of the car, left, and I left.
Kevin Bacon's body was found by police inside the house just hours later on Saturday morning.
Mark Latunsky showing no emotion, learning his fate for the crime he admitted to. The prosecutor in Shiawassee County calling this murder and mutilation gruesome.
This is one of the most brutal, horrific murders I've seen, not only in this county, but in the state.
Bacon and Latunsky met on a dating app, according to police. They agreed to meet up on December 24th, 2019. This past October, during a degree hearing, police interrogation video played in court, we heard Latunsky detailing graphically what he did to Bacon. Police found Bacon's body in Latunsky's Shiawassee County home December 28th, 2019, hanging upside down with his throat slit.
Mr. Bacon was a young man who lost his life far too soon, and unfortunately nothing can bring him back to his family.
Now Kevin Bacon's family left with only memories.
We are going to miss him, and Kristen says that everything will never be the same for us ever again.
Pamela Van Horn, Kevin's mother, in the courtroom Thursday morning. Since Kevin was killed, her and Kevin's father divorced. Pamela says this has destroyed their family.
See what Kevin would have wanted. Because that's what he would want his family to be like this, no matter what.
Old Kevin's life cut short. Not only did Pamela and Carl lose a son, Jenny, their daughter, lost her brother. Jenny did not appear in court today, but her statement was read aloud.
Kevin meant the world to me, and I will never have another brother like him. The day I learned of Kevin's death, a part of me died with him because he was my first best friend, brother, and protector.
Kevin Bacon's killer will spend the rest of his life behind bars. He will not be given an opportunity for parole. His sentence is the most serious in the state of Michigan.
The court does not find this crime committed in the heat of passion. The court finds that this is a crime of cold calculation. Kevin Bacon's death was Mark Latunsky's design.
Mark Latunsky appearing in court for the second day of his degree hearing. For 2 days, the circuit court heard details of the case. Latunsky pled guilty to killing a man he met in 2019. Mid-Michigan House Courtney Bennett was in the courtroom when the judge ruled on the murder charge.
After almost 3 years since the murder and mutilation of 25-year-old Kevin Bacon, his accused killer sat in the Shiawassee County courtroom to hear what he will be charged with.
The court finds defendant guilty of first-degree premeditated murder.
Judge Stewart says the defendant planned the murder hours before even meeting Kevin Bacon in person. Police say the two started talking on a dating app and made plans to meet on Christmas Eve 2019.
He selected the knife because the sword wasn't sharp enough.
Latunsky pled guilty last month, waiving his right to a jury trial, a move his attorney disagrees with.
And no, I do not wish he had entered a guilty plea. I think that we would have been successful at trial, but we certainly have to accommodate his wishes and respect those.
Bacon's family was in the courtroom during the 2-day hearing.
The guy just gives us a weird vibe.
Bacon's mother and father listened to disturbing and graphic details of how their son was killed, some details they had never heard before. A pre-recorded video of police questioning Latunsky was played in the courtroom on Tuesday. In the video, Latunsky described the murder and how he consumed part of Bacon's body.
He said that Kevin said it didn't make any sense because at that time, Kevin was turning his life around. He made plans. He had some future plans.
Bacon's family says their prayers were answered with the first-degree murder charge. As for their son's tragic death, it is something they struggle to live with every day.
I think about him every day.
We both do.
And he's always in my thoughts.
But it don't bring Kevin back. But at least now we got some type of closure.
Appearing via video call in the 66th District Court in Shiawassee County, a very still and silent Mark Latunsky sat through an hours-long preliminary examination. His attorney, Doug Corwin, painting the victim, 25-year-old Kevin Bacon, the man he's accused of slaying and mutilating after a meeting on Grindr, is suicidal.
Latunsky indicated that this was an assisted suicide.
A defense prosecutor, Scott Kerner, tried to block presenting 5 witnesses, 3 law enforcement officers, a forensic scientist, and a medical examiner to outline details from the date Bacon was last seen on December 24th to when police say his body was found in the basement of Latunsky's Moorish home.
He stabbed the victim in the back of the neck, slashed his throat, and confessed to the event of killing Mr. Bacon. There's only one word for that. It's murder.
Bacon's parents, Carl and Pamela, inside the courtroom, hearing the new gruesome details in their son's murder.
My anxiety level's through the roof. I heard things before I haven't heard them yet, so I'm just trying to process it all.
During the hearing, Detective Sergeant James Moore with Michigan State Police says Latunsky told them after their sexual encounter, Bacon asked him to help him disappear. That's when Latunsky allegedly told police he got a knife and stabbed Bacon. According to Moore, Latunsky also admitted to cutting off Bacon's testicles and eating them.
He said he removed them, and after removing them, he took them up to the kitchen. He put them into a griddle on the kitchen stove. He used Leah Perrin's Worcestershire, cooked them, and then consumed them.
Kerner says this proves Latunsky lured and preyed on Bacon, while the defense also brought up antidepressants found in the victim's system during the autopsy. Bacon's parents admit he did try to take his own life before, but say when they last saw him on Christmas Eve, he was happy and it had been more than a year since his last suicide attempt.
Kevin didn't deserve this no matter what. And I don't believe what Latunsky said, because our son would never do something like that.
First-degree murder is the most serious crime recognized in our criminal justice system. The most serious crime deserves the most serious sentence, that of life with no possibility of parole. The legislature's intent is that the defendant never rejoin free society but live out the remainder of his life within the Michigan Department of Corrections. That would also be the court's intent, that defendant never be released from custody under any circumstance. To Mr. Bacon's family, I know nothing can ease your suffering, and I know that the weight of your pain is without measure. But it's my hope that perhaps today's sentence would be a small amount of comfort in what I know is an enormity of hurt. And with that, Mr. Latunsky, you have some financial obligations you will need to meet with us, and that includes a state cost of $130, a crime victims assessment in the amount of $130, court costs in the amount of $794. There will also be a D&A fee of $60. Mr. Latunsky, against your sentence, you will receive jail time credit in the amount of 1,084 days. As to count 2, dismemberment and mutilation, the sentence of this court is 11 months, incarceration not to exceed 120 months. As to premeditated murder, Mr. Latunsky, it is the sentence of this court that you serve out the remainder of your life in the Michigan Department of Corrections without the possibility of parole.
You as parents are the first to go be with
Kevin
Jesus.
Bacon's parents gave a powerful victim impact statement via
only 25 years old
the court.
and had a great career as a hairstylist and hadn't been able to graduate from U of M in psychology, even though they were kind enough to honor him his degree. Such a short life for our son, who had a lot to do in this world still. He had already done a lot for many people, and just such a blessing to everyone who knew him. Our world is now shattered, and even though we have such great memories of our son, our lives will never be the same, or will our family. We had a lot of thoughtful people who help us out through this horrible nightmare we endured, and we will be forever grateful. Our family has been torn apart from all the pain and confusion we endured from losing our son, and our daughter lost her brother. I don't understand how anyone could want to hurt my son, especially in such a horrific and unbelievable way. He would have done anything for anyone, even if he had to use his last penny. Now Christmas for our family will never mean the same to us, thanks to you taking our son and brother away from us. Kevin will never get to make any life choices that parents get to feel proud of, and even though we finally will get justice for Kevin, it still doesn't feel like enough, and you still get to live and do things because a pig like you that can do what you did to our own son can never have remorse in his body. You took our son and my daughter's brother, but you can't take our memories that will be held so closely to our hearts. In your sick, twisted mind, you probably don't think you did anything wrong. But in reality, you took our world away. This Christmas, I hope you suffer like we have, because you won't be able to be with your family. I hope you feel pain as you are all alone with all the years yet to come. But yet you still have life. Our son had that taken away in his short years. We used to go watch movies, make Christmas cookies, go shopping, and go to the deer farm and cook Christmas dinner together as a family. This has all been taken away from us. Our family is broken all because of you, and nothing, not even you behind bars, will ever make our lives better.
Thank you, and thank you so much for coming today. Take care of yourself and be safe. You too, thanks. Mr. Kerr?
Good morning.
And this is from Jenny?
This is from his sister, Jenny.
Jenny Bacon?
Yep. On December 24, 2019 was the last time I saw my brother Kevin alive. I had to wait 3 long days to learn of Kevin's murder, unaware to me that he was killed on Christmas Eve night. Kevin meant the world to me, and I will never have another brother like him. The day I learned of Kevin's death, a part of me died with him because he was my first best friend, brother, and protector. Kevin was my protector from cruel people who didn't understand me like he did, because of the disability that I was born with. No one will ever replace Kevin in my life because he was one of a kind and will always be missed. Even though Kevin is gone, he is now my forever guardian angel, and I will always cherish our memories together. Mark Latunsky is the person responsible for Kevin's untimely death, but I failed to protect Kevin as his older sister because it was my job, as his sister to protect him. There are things that Mark can't ever take away from me, such as a love for cats and dogs, 25 years of pictures and memories, love for The Sims video games, love for a variety of music, love for Coach purses, and Harry Potter, because I share these common interests with Kevin. I will always miss Kevin because he was my only sibling, and we shared a deep love for each other. The things that I will miss most about Kevin are his beautiful smile, his generous heart. He was my best friend, his love for music, compassion for animals and others, his unique talent for hair, and his love for life. I will always wonder where Kevin would be today, because there is much life that Kevin has missed out on since he died. The things I wonder about Kevin would be doing now are finding the love of his life, getting his master's degree in psychology, seeing his friends or me getting married, planning his own wedding, being an uncle to my future children, and possibly becoming a dad himself. Kevin will never be able to experience any of his future dreams and plans because of meeting his untimely death at the hands of Mark Ratunski. Losing Kevin will always be with me because I want to keep his life story alive, share my favorite memories of him, and help others know about the dangers of meeting people online. Kevin's life was cut way too short, but his memory and generosity will leave an impact on the people he knew and loved throughout his 25 years of life on Earth.
Thank you so much, Barb. Mr. Kerner?
This is the victim impact statement of Carlton. I would like to thank the following agencies: Metro Police Department, Genesee County Sheriff, Clayton Township Police Department, Michigan State Police, Shiawassee County Sheriff, Shiawassee County Prosecutor's Office, and this court for bringing justice for Kevin. I would also like to thank all of the people who came out to help search for Kevin. I would also like to thank all of the well wishes we have received from all over the world. I have a hard time believing that Kevin would have entered into a suicide pact with anyone. Maybe a month prior, he might have. At that time, he was in an emotionally stressful job and still grieving for the loss of his grandmothers that had happened beforehand. In that month preceding his death, he was starting to turn his life around. Quit the job that was causing him stress, decided to go back to school, and made plans for the upcoming holidays. I also have a hard time believing that Kevin got into the defendant's car voluntarily. Losing a child is like losing a piece of yourself. After your children are born, you spend years nurturing and teaching them on how to be a good person. With Kevin, we had that taken away from us too early, just when he was about to become the man he was going to be. For the rest of my days, I will wonder what if with Kevin now. I love you, son.
Thank you, Ms. Pepper.
Kevin Bacon was a young man with mental health issues and painfully low self-esteem, meaning he was an ideal target for a predator looking to dominate and control another person. Kevin's struggles meant there was a degree of plausibility to Kevin potentially looking for a way out of life. But it seems that the intelligent cockwomble, Mark Ratunski, used this to his advantage in spinning a story as a smokescreen to hide the vile actions he took on Christmas Eve 2019. And he was ultimately, quite rightly, made to pay for those actions. Kevin's father Carl paid tribute to his son, saying, "He was a kind-hearted person who enjoyed his life, his work. He was a very good hairstylist. He had a natural talent for it. He was a very joyful person, very sociable person, and everybody who knew him enjoyed being around him. He will be greatly missed, not only by us, but by all his friends and family." And in the aftermath of Kevin Bacon's murder, a tribute was made by his acting namesake. The Footloose Star mourned the loss of Kevin Bacon on his Instagram page with a photo of the late hairdresser and a heartfelt message reading, "For obvious reasons, I'm thinking this morning about the friends and family of this young person, Kevin Bacon. His life was taken from him much too soon. His love was hairdressing. I bet he would have done a great job on this mess on my head. R.I.P. K.B. And that was the tale of a young man who was unquestionably taken advantage of. He was struggling, but muddling through, as so many of us are. His life was cut drastically short just because he trusted the wrong person. And this video is obviously dedicated to him. He is greatly missed, and I send love to his friends and to his family. Thank you for watching another episode of Murder of Crows. Please like, share and subscribe, etc., etc. And with that said, I'm Steve, this is Samson, and we will see you when we see you.